The sun had long since set, and the woods seemed darker than ever. Ruby's heart pounded as she walked the winding dirt path. The shortcut through the woods was supposed to save her 20 minutes on her way home, but now she regretted every step she'd taken into the shadowy forest. The trees towered around her, their branches twisting like skeletal fingers. The crunch of leaves beneath her boots felt unnaturally loud, and every sound, a rustling bush, a hoot of an owl, made her flinch. Ruby gripped her phone tightly, its dim flashlight barely piercing the oppressive dark. A snap of a branch made her freeze. "Just a squirrel," she whispered, trying to convince herself. But then came a low, guttural growl. She spun around, aiming her light into the blackness. Two glowing red eyes blinked into existence just beyond the edge of the beam. Ruby's breath hitched as the creature stepped forward, its massive, wolf-like frame illuminated for a moment. Its fur was matted, and its teeth gleamed like daggers. Ruby stumbled back, her hands shaking as the phone's light flickered. The creature stalked closer, growling deep in its throat. Its eyes burned into hers, and for a brief moment she was frozen in place, unable to look away. Then it lunged. Ruby screamed and turned to run, her feet pounding the ground. She could hear its snarls and the snapping of branches as it charged after her. She didn't dare look back. Suddenly, a sharp, chilling howl cut through the air, high-pitched and echoing from all directions. The growling stopped abruptly. Ruby glanced over her shoulder, expecting the beast to be right behind her. Instead, she saw it standing still, its ears flattened, growling at something in the shadows. They appeared slowly at first, one by one, pale, translucent forms that looked eerily like the beast itself. Their eyes glowed faintly, but not with the same menacing red. These were soft blue-white lights like tiny stars. The ghost-like creatures surrounded the wolf, their howls rising in unison. The wolf snarled and snapped at them, but the apparitions moved with impossible speed, darting and circling around it. One leapt forward, slashing with spectral claws, and another followed, forcing the wolf back. Ruby watched in stunned silence as the pack of ghostly creatures overwhelmed the beast, their glowing forms a blur. The wolf let out a final, piercing howl before turning and bolting into the woods, its red eyes disappearing into the darkness. The ghostly figures stood silently for a moment, their glowing eyes fixed on Ruby. She felt no fear now, only a strange sense of calm. They looked at her, not with menace, but almost with understanding. One stepped closer, its head tilting slightly before the entire pack began to fade. One by one they dissolved into the shadows, their lights winking out like fireflies. Ruby stood there, trembling and alone once more. The woods were silent, save for the sound of her ragged breathing. She ran the rest of the way home without stopping, her thoughts a jumble of terror and gratitude. When she finally slammed the door behind her and locked it tight, she swore she could still hear that haunting, protective howl echoing faintly in the distance. She never took the shortcut through the woods again.